Hello everyone, my name is Angie and welcome back to my channel, Angie Rose Nomad. And today I have my Friday Reads video for you guys. Just a friendly little catch up and what I've been reading and what I've been up to. So we're going to start with an apology from me about missing my Wednesday upload. I do apologize. I am very, very sorry. So not this past Wednesday, but the Wednesday before, I noticed I was having a bit of tooth pain. And so me being me, I'm trying to cure it with home remedies, as you do. I'm very big on home remedies. Don't like going to the doctor. Don't like going to the dentist. So I'm going to try everything I can before I make that visit. This weekend, it got so bad that I actually had to take some pain medication for it. So when my tooth was hurting, I was grumpy, and then I would take the pain medicine and I would get very groggy. But when you try and go to sleep, when you have a toothache, if you know, you kind of automatically grind your teeth in your sleep because it's hurting you. So I was not getting a lot of sleep and I was very irritable. So I went to the dentist this past Tuesday. He gave me something for a little bit of relief and came home. I tried to take a nap and then I got woken up. The first decent sleep I'd had in a little under a week, and I get woken up. And why did I get woken up, you may ask? Oh, good question. To make dinner. Because nobody else knows how to cook. They do, by the way. I'm being sarcastic. But you know what I made? I made breakfast. And how hard is it to fry an egg and put a biscuit in the oven? I mean, for real. Luckily, I was able to contain my inner rage monster. But yeah, I haven't had the best week. I've been a lot of pitying, no partying, which is very unfortunate. The tooth started to hurt a little bit today, so I'm going to call him tomorrow and see if that's normal, what's going on. But yeah, anywho, let's just keep going as you do. So now we're transitioning to what I have been reading this week. And you guys, I have no idea how I did this. Are you ready for what I read this week? Are you ready? You might be ready, but my books are not ready. That's what I read this week. In a week. I read 5 books in 1 week. That is insane. So I have invested in a notebook where I'm going to write my thoughts about these books down so I can remember them in my wrap-ups. So going forward, my Friday reads will be a pretty glossed over, more like what I rated the book, and then my monthly wrap-ups are going to be more in-depth thoughts on the book. It's just so I'm not repeating myself over and over and over again about the same book. So the first book that I got to was IQ by Joe Ide. Who would have thought I was pronouncing that name wrong? But apparently, according to the audiobook, I was. This book almost did it for me, you guys. I almost got that 5-star rating. I did end up giving it a 4.5 stars and read about half of the book in this format and then listened to the rest on audiobook. Now, the audiobook is narrated by a man named Sullivan Jones. He is fantastic. His narration makes me want to go and check out more things that he has done. He's that good. So in some audiobooks that I have listened to, you have the narrator who is speaking and they're with someone else in the room. So person 1 will be talking to you like I am now, but then person 2 comes on the scene and they have like a weird British accent and they're in the middle of Texas. It's like, what? You're British? That's how weird some audiobooks are. Sullivan, however, has this amazing ability to use his own accent, but then add little tweaks here and there. So, for example, our main character, IQ, speaks kind of slow and, very logical. But his best friend speaks like this, but they have the same accent. It was superb. So if you like mystery thrillers, I really recommend checking this book out on audio. So next up, I read Scene of the Climb by Kate Dyer Seeley. I gave this book, I believe, a 3.5. I do have the second book in the series and will read that before I make the decision if I'm going to stop and unhaul the first 2 or if I want to keep going. Mainly because I had some problems with the main character, but like I said, more in the wrap-up. So I believe it is safe to say that I fell in love with 2 people this week. The first being Sullivan Jones, and the second being Exie Sands. Now, she narrated 2 books that I listened to this week. The first one is All These Beautiful Strangers by Elizabeth Kathloff. I give this book a 3.5 to 4-star area. This book is told in 3 different perspectives. We're following the daughter, Charlie, as well as her mom, which is Exie Sands, and then the father. And they are all in different time periods that we're reading about the story. And I thought it was very, very compelling. The plot kept me hooked. I listened to this whole thing on audiobook. And I was very intrigued. I wanted to know what was going to happen. But there were a few things that just did not sit well with me. So the next book I predominantly listened to, but read along a little bit, and that was The Wife by Alifair Burke. So this is my first Alifair Burke novel. I initially heard about her from Audrey over at Chapter and Converse. And she raved about her, and I was so interested. I do have both of her series on hold. Yeah, that's okay though. That's okay. This book was narrated by Exie Sands, and I gave it a 4.5. I loved it. I thought that the plot was so compelling, and I thought that the characters really drew you in. I wish they would have been fleshed out just a little bit more, especially with more supporting characters. I felt that could have contributed a little bit more to the story. And I sat there and I thought, do I rate it that 5? Do I rate it that 5? I can't quite put my finger on it, but something was missing and I just couldn't do it. But I really, really loved this book. Finally, we get to book 5, which was A Fatal Grace by Louise Penny. I gave this book 3.5 out of 5 stars, which I am super upset about. I wanted to go back to Three Pines as soon as I put down Still Life, the first book in the Armand Gamache series. This is the second, and I was so freaking excited. I got it from the library back in February, but was waiting until this month when I could read it and have it as part of March Mystery Madness. So I'm a huge holiday person. I love birthdays, Christmas, Easter, Thanksgiving. I love holidays. I love a good celebration. So you know how when you're so excited about Christmas, let's just say, and you're excited about snow or seeing your family or picking out a Christmas tree or decorating, whatever it may be. So you're so excited and it's building and building and building, and then whatever you're excited about finally arrives and it just lets you down, just falls flat a little bit for some reason. Might not be horrible, it's just not everything that you had hyped up in your mind. That's this book, you guys. Ooh, this book. It did not help that there is a character in here from the first book that I absolutely loathe. And this person just detracts from the story. I don't even like seeing their name on the page. I just think that wicked, horrible person. I hate it. But also, I didn't like how some of the characters that I loved in the first one were a little bit different and didn't seem as likable as in this one. I was going to rate this book a 3 and just move on and hope for the best in the third book. I do historically have a tendency to not like the second book in a series. But then Louise hit me with the end. And if you don't know what a beer walk is, you need to read this book because she punched me in the throat. But then that twist at the very end, my jaw hit the floor. I literally gasped out loud. But I also want to leave you guys with something slightly amusing. There is a gay couple in this book, and I do not speak French, but this takes place in Canada where they do speak French. So I make up names in this book left, right, and center, just so you guys know. Just so you know. There is a gay couple in this book. I call them Gabri and Oliver, and they run this bistro where everything is for sale. And it even said at one point in the book, when Gabri was really mad at Oliver, he even put a price tag on himself. I loved it. So there are little nuances that really help carry the story forward, especially in terms of characterization. Everyone in this town knows everyone, so it's like, you know, one giant family, and you don't always get along with your family, but you love them anyway. I'm definitely going to continue with this series. This just was not my favorite. So before we go into what I'm going to be reading this coming week, I do have a couple of quick announcements. I have decided that the month of May is going to be very special on my channel. I'm going to be letting BookTube pick my TBR. So probably mid-April, I'm going to be making an announcement about this. I just wanted it to be put on the back burner and simmering in your head. So how I'm going to work this is I don't really believe that you guys have the time to go back and watch every video I've made talking about books that I would like to read. So I'm going to ask you guys for probably around 3 book recommendations, just to make sure that if you only suggest one, I haven't already read it. And I will pick one from that list of 3 for each person that comments and try to read those in the month of May. Now, earlier this week, the Women's Prize for Fiction long list was announced, and I'm going to be getting to some of those books in April. I believe they announced the short list at the end of April. I think it's April 28th. I can't remember. Oh, I'm terrible, you guys. Go figure, I can't remember. I know that the winner is picked in early June. I want to say June 5th or 6th. But, got my handy dandy semi-bullet journal here. So I've decided that I can't really bullet journal all the way because I like to write. So I've kind of done a mashup where I'm like writing things and then I just kind of started to doodle, kind of like a bullet journal. Okay, so we're at the page where I've started to write down books that I want to read. So the books that I want to read for the Women's Prize for Fiction are as follows: Normal People, Lost Children Archive, Milkman, An American Marriage, Ordinary People, and My Sister, the Serial Killer. So I am going to try and make it to those 6 books eventually. I did forget to tell you guys that I have signed up for Scribd, which is completely amazing in how I was able to read so much this week. I listened to The Wife in a day. I listened to All These Beautiful Strangers in probably a day and a half. It's great. There are so many options to choose from between ebooks and audiobooks, and I already have a big, huge list that says it's coming in April, on April 5th. I think I'm going to cancel Audible because Scribd is like $8.99 a month, and I didn't think I would be able to afford it, but looking and really planning my budget, I think I can. So I'm really excited about going forward with that. So here's what I'm going to be reading this coming week. I am going to be finishing The Marriage Lie by Kimberly Bell. Let's see where I am in this one. I'm at chapter 18, which is about this much left of the book. Pretty much even halfway through. I will probably be listening to Spy the Lie via Scribd. I was so excited I found that. I was like, wow, what? I am really going to try and pick up Linwood this week. No Time for Goodbye. I'm going to try, but I want to read this one, which is Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. Even though this is not a mystery book, this is part of the Read It or Leave It challenge that I set for myself. And I have a couple books that I need to read before April, so I'm going to be sneaking them in throughout the remaining weeks of March. So this will be the first book that I finish. And then I'm going to listen to this one on Scribd, read that one, maybe listen to it. I think I have it on Hoopla. And then if I have time, I'll try and get to this one. What I did last week was I divided my pages in each book. So I had a certain page count for each day for each book, and that really seemed to help. So I was kind of being drugged down by Fatal Grace, and I did fall behind on it a little bit, but it just helped being able to go to a book that I found more enjoyable and not have to force myself to keep reading when I really wasn't drawn in right away. So there we have it, guys. That is what I've been up to this past week. Let me know what you have been reading, if you have been participating in March Mystery Madness or in any of the other readathons going on in the month of March. As always, I want to thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this video, please let me know by giving it a thumbs up and subscribing to become part of the tribe if you have not already. I do post new bookish videos every Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday. Sorry about last Wednesday. And I will see you very soon. Bye.